Hello and welcome back to Shelf Center. This is Bryce. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thanks for liking and subscribing. If this is something you end up enjoying, you never know, it could happen. Hey, we made it through another month. I barely made it, but I actually had a pretty dang good reading month. I got a lot in despite all the craziness that was happening in my life, which again is why I'm here at another new place for you. I get my videos shot where I can. Sorry about that, but this is my new office. One day I'll have to do a live stream and show you the rest of it, but it's pretty cool. So anyway, let's talk. How did we do for reading for February and what's going on with March? I know we're already into March, but here we are. This is how things are for the moment. We'll get back onto it. I really finished off the year strong, and then it's just been downhill from there, so I'm sorry. I finished off last year strong. February, so I read 5 books in the month of February. So a shorter month, read even more books than usual. So that's pretty dang good. I'm pretty happy with it. I finished a number of read-alongs, so that was really good. So let's jump into that. First things first, A Little Hatred by Joe Abercrombie, Age of Madness, book number 1. Back into The First Law. The First Law is so good. It's like Joe Abercrombie just has this way with words, this way with themes, with just really coming up with these pithy sayings, these great things that each and every character has. I just really feel like they're strong characters because he really makes them real by, you know, we're all, at least I think, in my head, maybe I am the wisest person, right? Everybody on the road that I drive with is just a terrible driver, and I am the good one, of course. And you know, he just has this way of just making you kind of, you dive into their head, and they're the wisest one in the room, and not always is that actually the case. And we see that with a number of these characters that they just, again, and a lot of them do at least have these good just ways of kind of looking at the world, or just different, and most of them do think that it's the right way, whatever they do is the right way. And again, that's so human, it's so real, so realistic, and they absolutely think they're the smartest ones in the room, and it's definitely not the case, and we're shown that over and over again. There's some good twists in this one, but really, just Abercrombie is one of the best character writers, just bar none. He's so good at making these characters real, and it's just, you feel like you know these characters very well when you're reading it. And then some amazing things happen. So anyway, happy to be back. Then we've got, I read, this was the first of 2. It was funny. This was a big month for like really pushing along on these read-alongs, but I was able to read Season of Storms by Andrzej Sapkowski, and then also Lady of the Lake. So Season of Storms is another collection of stories, and then Lady of the Lake is Witcher number 5. If you didn't already see it, I was able to finally be part of a live stream, so I'll link that below. The final live stream for The Witcher with J.R. Carroll, with JCM Byrne. And it was so much fun. We really, we bagged on Lady of the Lake quite a bit. It's kind of a mess. It's kind of all over the place, but I still feel like we all love the series very much, and it was an ending, I guess. Season of Storms I thought was good. I think the kind of consensus is that Sapkowski is a really an excellent short story writer, one of the best potentially. These longer novels, they're not as good as his short stories, and it is almost like the longer novels are more like short stories kind of pushed together in a way that kind of makes a little more sense than the normal short story collections, if that makes sense. Whereas the collections can be kind of all over the place, kind of have maybe some themes. The novels are kind of almost like short stories that do kind of have the same chronology, and the characters that are kind of interrelated a little bit. But anyway, and so they're good, but they're just not as good as these short story collections. So Season of Storms was, again, excellently done. I absolutely had a blast with it. Lady of the Lake, it's definitely my least favorite of all of the Witcher books. I don't want to get into spoilers, but watch that live stream. It was pretty fun. There was definitely a consensus there that it was all over the place. And again, it is what it is. And again, I'm already ready for the next book to come out here. So here we go. Then we read The Return of the King, and I keep saying we like I'm a king, I guess. Now that I just think of that, I read the Return of the King, J.R.R. Tolkien. I read the appendices, of course. I don't think you're allowed to consider it completed unless you've read the appendices, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Absolutely, it's epic. It's one of my favorites of all time for a reason. I think the movie really, and especially since we did get like the extended version, man, it could have benefited from that last part. I guess I won't get into spoilers, but that last part with the Shire, you know it, but it's such a good, like a lot of times I feel like fantasy books really do like kind of almost stop at just like, yeah, that's the ending, right? The big thing happened, the epic event that we built up to, it happened, and then we can kind of like happily move on. It was good for that to like happen, but then also, hey, we learned some stuff along the way and we get to apply it. Maybe going into too much spoilers, but you've seen the movie, you've read the books. I know you have. Come on, it's the same plot, right? And then finally, I read the second book in the Age of Madness, The Trouble with Peace. Trouble with Peace again continues on, just the same amount of amazing things with A Little Hatred. Great characters, Orso, Savine. Those are like the standouts. They're especially, I don't know, this day and age, we very much vilify the rich, right? And Orso is like the everything terrible about why we vilify the rich, pretty much, and yet he's like one of the best characters, and you can see and his arc is just it's really coming home. It's really pretty dang great, and I, especially with where he starts out again, just the worst of entitled, rich, and just thinking the world revolves around him. Not unlike his father, Jezal, right? But so excellently done. Again, just it continues it on. More good just twists and changes here that happen to our characters. But again, it's the characters. They're just so good. All right, then getting into March. My to be read, my might be read. It's probably more of a to be read, honestly. I think I'm gonna stick to at least this, because here's what I'm doing. Giving myself some mood reading time. I think it's about time. I've been so committed to these read-alongs, to buddy reads and whatnot. I just haven't had a chance to mood read. And so anyway, first things first, I kind of mood read this, even though this is on my TBR for the year, so it really wasn't a mood read. But it felt good to just pick up a standalone. Saint Elspeth by Wick Welker. Wick Welker becoming not just like one of my favorite indie authors, but one of my just favorite authors, my go-to. This is the second book. I don't know, almost halfway through, and I'm loving it. His worlds that he's able to kind of paint, and this one's kind of more of a post-apocalyptic type world with aliens coming. And again, he's a doctor, and the main character is a doctor, and so you can really see the realism there, the right what you know there. It's so good in there, and I am just absolutely addicted. Cannot wait to jump in and read some more each and every day. So it's absolutely been a blast. Love me some Wick Welker, and get some Wick Welker in your life if you haven't already. Then actually, sorry, jumped ahead already. I started this beginning of the month, already finished it. It's a pretty short one. It's The Asylum Confessions, Family Matters by Jack Steen. It was actually the only one that was available at my library. I think it's book 2 in The Asylum Confessions. I didn't feel like I was missing out on jumping ahead to book 2, but this was I don't know if you wanted to be mentioned, but a recommendation. Because I said I'm reading more horror. This was creepy. It's super creepy. Well done story-wise. The writing, and again, the author kind of admits in the foreword, like, hey, I'm not a writer. But I think he's a storyteller. I think he does really, again, makes for creepy stuff going on. It's confessions of people in an asylum on their deathbed, pretty much, or at least on their way out, and kind of getting the last thing off their chest. So it's pretty good. It's pretty intense. So one down, about halfway through the other. We are early in the month still. And my only other book on my TBR is The Wisdom of Crowds by Joe Abercrombie. So to finish off The Age of Madness in style, this is still a buddy read or read along, whatever you want to call it. I'm not quite sure the difference. Please let me know in the comments below. But excited to finish off that trilogy. Very sad to finish off pretty much the latest of Joe Abercrombie that's out. I still have the short story collection, and I think there's some other kind of stuff coming out through Subterranean Press or something like that. So there might be some stuff out there that I will be able to pick up to kind of tide me over. But it is going to become, again, another Jim Butcher situation where we're just, we're dying for more. I've read it all, and now we got to wait. Although I got to catch up on Jim Butcher's The Olympian Affair. So anyway, mood reading is kind of what I wanted to leave open for the rest of the month. I do have reserved at the library The Well of Ascension, so that might come in and I might be reading that. So book 2 in Mistborn, keep that going. It's been a while since, I just don't want to get too far away since reading The Final Empire, book 1. Thinking about continuing and finishing up System Collapse Murderbot. These are options, but definitely more in the MBR, the may be read pile. Any other suggestions, let me know. I do have an extensive TBR, that's for sure. But I am excited for this month. I'm excited to kind of have a little bit of a break, I guess. Kind of just choose willy-nilly, choose randomly from what I already have queued up. Maybe even read from my TBR that I set up at the end of last year for this year. We'll see. But I really feel like I need a good mood read. If you have a good mood read, then it just helps you stick to your TBR later, I say in my mind, until the mood read completely derails everything. But I say that now, having not mood read really sufficiently yet. So anyway, how are your reading plans going for March? Let me know in the comments below, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.